evening and welcome to the Pop Topic Podcast. Issue 2. I'm going to call them issues.
You're going to call them issues?
I'm going to call them issues.
Top banana.
I've got issues.
I am one of your I am one of your hosts, Tom. To my left, I have Beth.
Hello.
Andy.
Hello.
Taryn.
Yeah, boy.
Hal.
Brigadier Marshal Franklin Bum Rosepilk.
You're too slow. I got him first that time, bitch.
No, I know, but you were wrong.
Shit. And last but not least, Diola.
What is this? It's fine, I'm extracted, I'm allowed.
Right. So, whiskey of the show.
Whiskey. Well, the whiskey this week is the Stratisla 12 year. I've never had it before.
No.
It's a 12-year-old
Now,
in a box.
Can I just
That's my
mention?
favourite kind.
Can I just mention that I was talking to you earlier that I wondered by its rather sort of beguiling name that whether it would be an Islay, but it apparently, as you discovered, it's from
Bayside.
which is inland. If I'm correct, I don't know if that's absolutely
Seriously,
very well.
it's just going to end in space.
It's wet and alcoholic.
It's wet and alcoholic. It
is.
Which I've discovered is also that's my aunt, but
It's actually from one of the
Only when I'm
award-winning
in the
Mars
room.
distilleries.
Sorry, what distillery is it from?
Mars.
Wonderful.
What
Distillery at the end of
what
the
do you think
world.
all the robots do up there, Tom?
You get pissed on Space Eye whiskey, apparently.
I'll take a selfie.
All right, here we go. Here's the pop and the start of the show. Oh, lovely.
Right.
for those of you listening in black and white, that was currently the opening of the very colourful whiskey bottle.
Oh, sorry, what happens if you get cramp on a podcast? Just panic.
Everyone ignores what they're talking about and laughs. Right. Okay, first topic, ladies and gentlemen. We actually have a bit of an audience tonight. We've got Heather in the room, and I'm going to let her pick the first topic.
Oh, lovely.
Oh, my wenchie.
Oh, pudding.
Okay. It's one of mine. Oh, shit. No, I can't lead off with this one.
Yes, we can.
Everyone's just going to turn off. Other podcasts you enjoy?
No, all right, I've been thinking about this, but...
All right, well, seeing as it's mine, I'll go first. There are two massive notable notes to make. One is Giant Bombcast.
Absolutely.
I think me and Taryn, especially, have been listening to the guys from the Giant Bombcast for, what, decade, easily.
Oh, since before they were Giant Bomb.
Yeah,
So
they-
when they're back again, it's got old school, motherfucker.
An amazing
decade?
video game podcast, yeah.
So, what was it hosted on then? What was it?
It used to be on GameSpot.com. But yeah,
It
they
makes
get
sense
together
that it's
every
been
week.
Going on that long, really, because all podcasts are just more accessible. Well, I was going to say radio, but you can access radio from loads of
Yeah,
different...
exactly. And one other massive influence for podcasting for me was the guys who are now Super the Hardest podcast, which again I know Taryn enjoys. But both of them have quite a obvious similarity. Last year, both of them lost a member of their podcast.
Oh.
Which reminds me, we need to start recording like our memorial bits.
Oh, yeah,
just in
that's-
case one of us dies.
Is doing podcasts dangerous?
Deeply.
The problem is I've never listened to podcasts.
Shit.
The only podcast I've ever listened to was issue 1.
I think that means you're the first to go.
I haven't even listened to the whole one.
Wait, he's not signed the waiver.
Oh. Uh-oh.
Or your obituary. Wait, hang on.
Is this is what Andy's doing is basically currently doing the horror film equivalent of going, yeah, I really miss my wife at home. I've got such a pretty young kid. Do you want to see a photo? Dead. Dead. Yeah. What are podcasts like, guys? The knife comes out.
I've Beth will probably join me on this, but I've got to put a particular shout out for the Kevin Smith podcast, the Smodcast network in general.
Definitely.
I used
So
to be
many
very into that.
different
I absolutely adore what he does, and
just nice to listen
and
to.
Edumacation. Just everyone listens to Edumacation. It's like QI, but instead of Stephen Fry, you've got Kevin Smith talking about anal sex constantly.
Oh, what in relation to his rather beautiful wife, Jennifer Schwartz?
No.
Schwab-
He's quite open about the fact that they don't go there.
And what?
He just eats it.
I was going to say, he's permanently making allusions towards, the you know.
Just.
But yeah, the two podcasts that Super the Hardest and Giant Bomb both lost a member, and that's when you realise how effective this media can actually be.
I almost cried.
I fucking cried.
Ryan Davis.
Ryan Davis.
What did
China don't care, motherfucker.
China don't care.
What did they listen to? What was the...
I believe his was sleep apnea
Television.
related.
What?
He was
God,
an
tell me
overweight
that.
gentleman, and he just stopped breathing in the middle of the night.
That's horrible.
And from Drunk Gamers Radio,
Yeah, what happened to Hilden?
Hilden, I didn't actually find out.
They didn't go into it.
No,
fair
but again,
enough.
his memorial podcast was just
so
so
funny.
heart-wrenching.
Yes, very heart-wrenching, but so Hilden. It's funny man.
The world's a darker place without him.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they actually made his memorial sort of one, like, quite nicely sort of comedic. So-
They
good,
all got
good.
together and recorded off his equipment and went, fuck knows what we're going to do now, but this one's for him. And
Oh, that's nice.
yeah, it's
But
nice.
the thing is, it's like, because I've spent decades, over a decade now, listening to podcasts quite regularly, that's kind of what's driven us to do this podcast.
Definitely.
Which, looking at it, is kind of like the equivalent of sort of a 12-year-old watching sort of SummerSlam and going, oh, me and my mates could probably do that. And then, like, before long, they've gone through a table, off a roof, they've broken their spine and are on fire.
Yeah.
So this is dangerous.
Yeah.
Drink up. That's strange. It's not as direct, but in the Kevin Smith podcast, there's actually it's been going on for so many years that you've seen members' parents die, and then they do that. I mean, even in Hollywood Babylon, they have a whole section of people in the business doing obituaries for people, which is pretty amazing. And it's obviously a massive respect. Obviously, it depends what podcast you listen to as to what people are actually doing it and what their morals are. But I find that there's a big respect in a lot of the community. So
Yeah.
Just purely out of interest, do you think, therefore, that podcasts being the sort of modern equivalent of, you know, the sort of... Wayne's World satirised the whole cable... independent production, like Cable 10, you know, stuff like that. Do we think, therefore, that maybe podcasts are becoming the sort of modern TV in the way that it's non-linear, it's sort of it's on demand only, and it's actually
Yeah.
it's bite size.
It's on demand. You can have it whenever.
But
you
it's
want.
also commercialising in a single. You listen to Smodcast now. I've noticed that more and more it's starting to become more prevalent that, like, suddenly it will. If you listen to it via the website, Kevin still suddenly break out to some sort of advert for, I don't know, impalacardigans.com or something like that, you know. And it's like, well, yes, because they have to make their money somehow.
Yeah. Just the same way that ITV or anyone would, I guess.
But I just wonder whether and I would welcome it. That is this what's going to replace sort of standard TV programming? It's very possible.
It's quite nice as well that it seems to be an additional job for people. I listen to You Made It Weird, which is on the Nerdist. Thing.
Massive company.
Yeah, which is basically, I've completely forgotten his name, but a really nice, excitable comedian that interviews anyone, just so many different people from all different music, movies, comedy, just YouTube or something like that. It's just nice hearing people talk.
Is that the Robin
Even
Williams
if you don't know
one?
them. No, not Robin Williams. That one is Mark... someone else, a different comedian. It's really, really good as well. I forgot about that. But it's also quite nice because you can have the podcast on YouTube as well. So you can make it multimedia if you want.
Yes. And another great podcast for that is also The Comedy Button, which...
So the comedy...
The Comedy Button.
Button.
It's just a few guys who work in the games industry. The main ringleader is really Ryan Scott, who I've been listening to again for God knows how long, close to a decade. Different jobs and different podcasts. But they just get together once a week and they basically see it as it's their poker night with the boys. They get together, they hang out and they chat, and they just happen to record it and make a fucking mint on Patreon. So,
Wow.
I'm gonna close it off. Quite quickly with. I'm just gonna mention them. I'm not gonna go into them because I don't think they need any help. They're extremely popular. But my brother, and me.
oh, fabulous.
That'll do. Should we have another one from the hot pot?
Yes, let's do
Hot
that.
pot. It's now
Excellent.
hot.
Right, go on, D.
Yay! Diola's first hot topic.
Right. If you had 48 hours left to live, what would you do?
My English teacher.
Dogging with Richard and Judy.
Those questions, I
It's a
don't know.
thinker.
It really depends on what mood I'm in.
But it's your last mood ever.
Yeah. It'd be shit if I was hungover. Want to lie down.
I've never thought of it like that.
I put this one in, and I only did it because I think I listened to a Smodcast where they asked the same question, and it took me an entire walk to work, which is 40 minutes long, to figure out what I would do. So I'm not expecting everyone to have like a perfect answer right now. But they actually mentioned on there, okay, 48 hours to live, but we'll give you 14 hours free to just grieve about how you're about to die. And then you can start your 48 hours.
Jesus, I don't think I'd need that. Really.
Qualifier, is it known? Would it be generally known that I've only got 48 hours
And
to
does
live?
everyone else know?
Oh, and you wanted to spend it with us?
No, I'm just thinking, like, if I'm the only one that knows,
Oh, I see.
I'm going to take out a loan because there's no record that I'm going to die.
Yeah, but who's your next of kin? That's a bit mean.
And I'm going to hire as many one-man bands as I can just to march through the House of Commons or something of that ilk.
Wow.
And just, I don't know, just do odd things with money for 48 hours until, wow. No, let's call it 43 hours. And then I'll spend the last 3 hours in a whiskey bar.
Or would I like to die at a rave?
See, that's why I was sort of heading. Like, I'd like to spend one of those 24 hours, obviously, with my partner, Rita, but then maybe
One?
the first or second.
But that's a lot of fucks.
And then
At
the
least
other
6.
24 hours with her, with all you guys as well.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the thing. I thought
What?
that...
Cool,
Because you're right, what you brought up is definitely like it would need to be somewhere. You'd need to go somewhere that was significant to you. You're saying maybe a rave, whatever.
Let's be honest. Like, every single night ends up back at this house that we're
Yeah,
now
that's
currently
true.
recording in.
That's
It might as
true.
well just end up here. Are we all dying, by the way, or is this just one person?
If everyone was to go together, we would absolutely do it together. And
We would have a little
Christ, we'd be drunk.
discussion. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
God, we'd be absolutely monstered.
But I wouldn't know.
Yeah, but however, sorry to be the whole semantic bugger about this, but it makes me wonder: is what's the method of what is your demise, and is everyone else sharing the same? The other thing is also, it's all just in hearing your sort of answers, it makes me suddenly go all sort of rather, I don't know, rather sort of sympathetic and that there's part of me that goes, oh, I'd end it in this most spectacular way ever and like shoot a firework up me or something like that and get everyone the most amazing flesh fireworks show or something, I don't know, off Big Ben. But then
Oh, is that the firework?
yeah, bang, go! He's house into the first band to make it to Mars, not necessarily alive or in one piece, but he got there, off the end of a very large John Soames creation. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's that I suddenly had this idea of just going, oh yeah, it's massive, spectacular death. And suddenly went, actually, even beyond my death, I'd be slightly concerned about the people who had the misfortune of seeing something utterly horrific.
Well, they introduced it on the previous podcast about it's not a painful death or anything. It's just at that 48-hour mark, you
snap
just
off.
fall down and that's the end.
Well, see, I'd take myself off somewhere.
Oh, if that's the case, if we just literally collapse, we'd have to do it somewhere spectacular.
Oh, like in
Do it on
Trafalgar
somewhere
Square or something.
Stupid. Where's
Just
the
like-
most
yeah.
inappropriate place to fall down and die?
Doing a handstand on top of the Eiffel Tower.
Go. Wait until you got half an hour left. Go to someone that you really, really hate and have an argument with them. And at half hour in, you just die.
Well, I've got it. Sorry.
They won.
Sorry, I've got it. It's basically make sure that it happens around the same time that Justin Bieber has his largest concert. Storm the stage and then stage dive and die mid-stage dive and see him, everyone that survives you is in on it. They go, no, he's going to die. We got this out. And you time it mid-jump and then whatever happens, whatever impact you do when you hit the ground guarantees that Bieber himself will be sued. Because someone died at his concert stage diving.
Bit so much.
Yeah, I love the fact you spend your last 48 hours on the planet trying to get Justin Bieber sued.
Absolutely. No, but
Kill him.
But yeah.
That's like a James Bond villain plan.
You couldn't actually just kill him. Then you'd be on his Wikipedia page. Ugh.
Yeah, no, but I would be...
fate worse than death.
No, I would fall on that grenade if I am the person's on Justin Bieber's Wikipedia page for being responsible for him getting sued out of the music industry, plus also being on the Wikipedia page for being the first person who's ever managed to stage dive off a major stage whilst wearing Miley Cyrus.
Okay, there we go. New topic.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Should we have one for let's have some potluck?
Potluck. One from the community.
Cool. So, this is one from I hesitate to say community, but from the community.
We've got a community. I've seen it.
Yeah,
It spells
I
funny.
invited it to my house.
This one's from Sophie. What would Cthulhu do? What would Jesus do? What would you do?
I think they'd all do each other, wouldn't they?
Oh, yeah, damn straight. Well, it wouldn't be straight, would it?
I love the idea that like if they all did each other, like Cthulhu would be the little spoon, and Jesus would just have it.
That is adorable. Sucking his little...
Wait, how white Cthulhu are we suddenly getting to?
Oh.
Well, wouldn't it? Hang on, but if Cthulhu was spooning, wouldn't it be a bit like looking at a cutlery drawer? It'd just be sort of like because there's so many bits.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, if you as any deity or mythical deity or fictional constructed deity that would ever give the most king fucking reach around, Cthulhu's going to be the one. It's time for hentai reach around 2016. Woof!
So you want Cthulhu at the back?
Oh, damn straight you do.
And on top.
Absolutely. Well, and all around and everything. It's like,
Basically, I want to be in Cthulhu.
he would. Seriously, if there's anyone's going to give head the most amazingly, in the kind of he who sleeps will wake up to give you head.
He's covered
That's
in
an honour.
He sleeps, and he's covered in suckers.
Hang on a second. Are we combining the topics and actually having what would they all do in their 48 hours left to live? Because I have a feeling that Jesus might not care.
Jesus would be such a dick about it. Jesus would be like, "Oh, I've been here before, guys. It's intensely painful. Follow me." No,
It's all right. I'm only going to go to hell for a little bit. I'll be back. It's all for you, guys.
3 days in Penge. It was hell.
Shout out to my Penge Massive.
Yeah, I salute you, Penge.
We saluted Penge on the way here.
Yeah, we did.
Just so Penge East went by, we were like.
And then I announced that I penged all over the place, and no one else laughed.
No. For those about to Penge, we salute you.
It's the shittest place name for the most shittest, dullest place on the face of the planet.
I don't know, Scunthorpe or
Bognor Regis.
Staines.
Which, by the way, was Edward the Eighth's apparent dying words.
What?
Well, genuinely, he was particularly ill. Was taken by it's just basically the large pox, rather than the smallpox, and he was taken ill, and was advised to go to one of the many at that time one of the sort of healing towns, spa towns and stuff like that. But if you go there, the air is good, as they believed in that time, and basically his physicians, Your Highness, came to his deathbed. May we recommend that. We take you on sojourn to Bognor Regis, and apparently his dying words, he rolled over and said, "Bugger Bognor."
Clearly been to Butlins.
I'm so glad that Sophie got her answer.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. Those topics were actually individual topics, but I just bung them all on the same pice of paper. So
I like the idea of the combination of it.
It does work better.
What Ganesha do at this point?
That's what you do.
Well, Ganesha,
He's
Ganesha's
fantastic
Dumbo.
in a pub quiz.
But you know that in the West we have Disney, we have Dumbo, and in the East they're like, no, it's a god. It's not, it's a cheeky elephant. No, it's a god. It can fly with his ears. It's a god.
Look, to be fair, what would you rather? Some bloke with long hair and a beard?
Or an elephant with many arms.
An elephant with arms?
Are you saying you wouldn't get a blowjob from Vishnu? I mean, that would be fucking... Kali. Imagine the hand job from Kali! Wobbity, wobbity, wobbity!
Just don't want Shiva, because she just destroyed that bitch.
Oh, yeah.
Which one's the maintainer?
Me. West Side. I've got to maintain.
Brahman is the maintainer. Brahma is the maintainer, I think, is it? It's Vishnu, Brahma, and Shiva is the destroyer.
Yeah.
Shiva Destroyer.
No, Brahma's the... No, Vishnu's the maintainer.
Right.
Brahma's the...
Welcome to the RE
birther.
podcast.
Yeah. Spiritual yet?
Is that the title of it?
Yeah.
Got faith?
Cool. Sophie, I hope that answered your question then.
Yeah, do you know what? In answer to
We're
all,
here to give.
In answer to all three of those, Cthulhu, Jesus, and me, I think the answer is probably lie.
Cthulhu, Jesus and Me would be a good name for an autobiography.
Should we have one from the hot pot?
Hot pot! All the topics that we've done.
Go on, Andy.
Very first topic.
Ever.
I like your unfolding skills.
I think I've been practicing all morning. First time you were too drunk.
That was one of mine.
Sir, it's your topic. The floor is yours.
First time I was too drunk.
Bearing in mind, my mum still refers to Andy as Andy Beer because he's always got a beer in his hand.
It was only at your birthday that I found out that your mum's been trying to take a picture of me without a beer.
Yeah.
Because the camera came out and I was just like, oh no, I haven't got my drink. And she's like, no!
She's been on a quest for the last 5 years to get a picture of you.
I didn't know. Your mum has such complexities, and I'm not even saying that as a diss. That's
I'm so complex, man.
Your mum's well complex, whatever.
So go on then, Andy.
First time I was too drunk, I don't know. I think I remember going on a Duke of Edinburgh's hike, and
You did DV?
yeah, and
Good man.
then when in the tent we drank a bottle of Bacardi whilst playing cards, and then I remember waking up in a pile of my own sick. With someone had clearly tried to eat the cards because there was holes in the centre of some of the cards and teeth marks and stuff. So I had no idea what went on with that.
Weren't
No, I was extremely drunk that day. That felt well too drunk.
How old were you?
Yeah, it must have been sort of like 14, something like that. Was Duke of Edinburgh at school, sort of thing. Yeah.
Am I possibly able to trump everyone on this one?
No.
Oh, yes, you are.
Yeah,
Give it a shot.
I think I am.
Yes, you are.
Really?
Yeah. I was typically, I think the age that you most humans are capable of crawling is around 2 or just sort of before.
I think slide it, brother, because I think we're about the same.
There you are. Yeah. My one in particular, that it's there comes a point in all of your friends sort of in a circle whenever people start sprogging, and lo and behold, my parents all got to a certain age and everyone started sprogging, and I think I was just about reaching 2. I was an early developer physically, but not by no means intellectually, so I was capable of sort of like dragging myself around and sort of like being mobile, which does present certain dangers, but not too much. And my parents attended a house party and figured that, well, it's safe to just let the boy roam around, don't worry. And they were drinking brandy, and when you drink brandy in those sort of bell glasses, Mum basically put her bell brandy glass, she just habitually was putting it down on the floor next to the rather large sofa that she was on. And then after a while I was going, hang on, has anyone seen Hal? Oh God. And it's in one of those moments, the young parents are like, we've lost a baby. Oh, and the entire house goes mental. And they searched all the rooms and everything like that, all the floor level bits, and he's only going to be on one level until they just didn't check behind the sofa, where basically it's me spark out having downed an entire full bell glass of brandy. Now just before it, I don't know how that's possible. Surely they'd be like, oh my God, it's like the pain of it. But I downed it, and they obviously ran me off to hospital because they were deeply concerned I'd slipped into some terrible coma of interest. And they got to the Ashford hospital, and they just said, no, he's just drunk. He'll sleep it off. God help you when he wakes up. True enough, I just they thought, oh, we're out his stomach pump. No, just leave him to it. And I just woke up and apparently went, I just began as I meant to carry on, So yeah, that's.
I love the idea that maybe in a situation like that, a sort of parents stumbled upon their child having just drunk an entire shot of fine scotch, and they sort of look at him asleep on the floor and goes, "Good lad." Well, he doesn't have his shoes on.
Yeah.
Let's draw on this little cunt's face.
9 months of agony, and then a pinnacle of pure injury. I'm going to draw on you.
I'm going to write "Do not resuscitate" on his forehead.
Nil by mouth.
I think the first time I realised there was such a thing as too drunk was when I used to go camping with my dad's. Like, he has a little plot of land, sort of in Kent somewhere. We would go there, and it started off. We'd turn up, and because it was a holiday, we'd ask Dad, "Oh, can we have something to drink too?" This would be me and Darren, my cousin. And it started off as a beer, and then a couple of times later, he bought us a flagon of Scrumpy, which didn't end too poorly. Didn't go well, but it didn't end too poorly. And then I think when I was 14, I convinced him that, could you buy a bottle of Southern Comfort and we can all share it throughout the entire holiday. And I think we were there for a holiday. I think we were there for sort of 3 or 4 nights. Now, I've got to point out, this is proper rough camping. This is not a camping site. This is just us in a bit of woodland, digging holes to shit in and having to fetch water from a standpipe sort of miles away. Yeah. It's that sort of camping. On the first night, I got hold of that bottle. I believe that I drank somewhere in the region of 3/4 of it. Oh, God. I don't remember drinking all 3/4 of it.
Just by yourself, Darren.
I remember
helping or anything.
Yeah, like Darren would have a little bit, but he was still a bit funny about drinking hard spirits back then. And yeah, I remember sort of getting into it. We were having Southern Comfort and orange. I was like, "Oh, this is really tasty. This is so tasty. It just slips down so easily." And I remember till just after dusk, and then the next thing I know, I'm waking up at first light. I'm completely naked. I'm on the carpet outside my dad's tent, and I'm waking up from a witch's brew pillow of Southern Comfort, orange, and every conceivable bile that can exit a child. So I get up feeling just about as bad as is possible to me. I managed to wash most of the chunks out of my hair. And I set up the lawn chair and kind of just sitting there as morning progresses, and I'm just sitting there with this big gallon of water, sipping it slowly. I was just thinking, this is just awful. I think I may have made a mistake here. And as I'm just sort of kind of reflecting and just feeling really quite sorry for myself, a noise attracts me. Sort of, the noise off to the side kind of grabs my attention. And I was like, look over. I was like, well, what's that? I don't see anything. There's just like this kind of big kind of massive brambles and a tree stump to my side. Mm-hmm. It's like, it's fine. And carry on sipping my water. And then I hear the noise again. Only when I turn back this time, there's a huge fucking stag there, looking straight. So I'm just, there's me, 14-year-old, hungover to fuck, still got vomit in my hair, frozen to my chair, looking at this stag that is just sort of chewing the cud, sort of looking at me thoughtfully. Massive antlers on this motherfucker as well. And I can't move for half an hour. Because I'm afraid of what this stag's going to do to me.
You got spotted out by a stag on a hangover.
Bury a stag.
Every now and then I think, oh no, it's gone. I'd look over and it's not there. But then it's all, I look, it's like, is it safe to move? And then it just will pop up again from behind these brambles with its antlers. Just going, and I think that was the first time I was too drunk.
Bravo.
What did your dad say to you?
I believe he laughed at me.
As any good father would.
I was going to say, it's what the stag was looking at you for was a phone number given the acts of the last night. That's the bit. Yeah. And you called? You never called. You never sent flowers. You never wrote.
Just somehow using its suddenly anthropomized hoof just passes back the lipstick.
Thank you, Gladys. See you next Tuesday. As you said.
Oh, not again. D?
I'm not sure the first time I was too drunk, but along with Hal, I accidentally got drunk when I was 4. My mum was drinking lots of Guinness.
Sorry, was I with you? Can we just clarify this?
Yes.
All right. Your mother and I don't get along.
I gave you the brandy.
Here, mate, drink this. It's really nice. Really, man? Just like...
just got this image of you, D, sort of passing him the scotch and just going, ticky.
For those who aren't us, we
Welcome
have
to
it.
in-joke number 214.
Yes, Fiona has a cup, which is a tiki cup, which she always drinks from, and every time it gets filled, the party doesn't end until it's empty, and it never fucking empties.
The only thing to grace that cup is violence.
Yeah.
Pure liver violence.
So what happened
so,
with
yeah,
the
what
Guinness?
Yeah.
Yeah, so a fairly similar story like that. My mum was just having a nice evening, fancied a drink, and she's kind of noticed me being a bit stumbly. Kind of just walk, so I could walk around, and it's just like, well, what's wrong with him? Like, is he ill? And there's just me, like, a little bit sweaty, and a little bit kind of waddling around and giggling and falling over a lot.
More than a 4-year-old does.
Yes. So she's just like, well, something's wrong. Goes to take a sip of her drink, and it's gone.
Yeah.
But I don't think that qualifies as too drunk, because apparently I didn't really mind.
Start you mean to go on, Fiona. Fucking hit it hard, carry on.
I think one of the time I was too drunk was at our friend, joint friend, Emma James. It was her 16th or 17th birthday.
Much love to Emma James, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Big up. I was trying to think of something affectionate and I couldn't. Big up.
Yeah, and it was at that party, and someone brought round one of those gigantic bottles of dessert wine. So I was just like,
They were gigantic.
That's my wife's excitement. There's a gigantic a gerber of Madeira. Oh, how will the poor people ever forgive us now?
Who cares? Sorry, I didn't realise that. I thought you could only buy dessert wine in Tiddly
no, this was a fuck-off bottle, and I drank all of it. Along with everything else. So of course it's dessert wine, so it's fucking tasty.
It's so tasty.
Wicked little sweet thing. And I was like, oh, this is brilliant. And then it just kind of goes... and it hits me in the face to the point I now can't stand up in their house. And bearing in mind this is just a small party, barely any music.
Yeah.
Everyone's having finger food, and I'm fucking vomiting on their driveway and have to get walked home.
I've been to a party like that. Everyone's having
Emma's
finger
probably.
food and I'm vomiting on the driveway, and the driveway and never was the same again.
We've all been to Emma James's house and done that. I think every single one of us has done that.
Actually, in that house, it's fine, because she saw me very drunk like that. She laughed at me when I was vomiting on her driveway. But it's all right, because I had to put Emma James's mum to bed on her Emma's 18th, because she was too drunk. And she... Come with me.
Come with me, Mama James.
And yeah, it was a pirate party, so I got treated to Emma James's mum.
Fuck that party.
Yeah.
And
That was the
That's for
perfect
them.
moment to punctuate that, Tom. I got treated to Emma's mum. Fuck that party. Yes. Doggy.
Had a good go.
And Emma's mum only... She refused to speak English. She only spoke French. So she was holding onto the
Oh my God,
banister,
that's amazing.
refusing to go to bed. While me and Emma... Well, I said... I wasn't helping. I was laughing and filming. Oh, fucking fantastic. And her dad came back from an evening. I think they went to see a gig. They went to a gig. And came back. And I was like, where's Irene? And Emma's just like, well, she's in bed. And so they go up to the bedroom. She's not, like, in the bed. And her dad opens the cupboard. And Emma's mum is sitting there, still with the eye patch on, and just goes, yar.
The James family are a force of nature. They're fucking
Damn
amazing.
right they are.
All of them.
Oh my God, that beats everyone else's too drunk.
It's none of us here.
No, miss them very much though.
There's a thing that just reminds me of this being too drunk. Yeah, everyone has it either goes from like toddler, where there's a desperate mistake, which is not by any intention, and then it goes to 13, 14, which is that sort of when you actually just discover that alcohol's really fun, but there's such a thing as too much. And around a similar sort of age, actually, it's more like sort of 11 and 12 for me. There were these rather legendary parties that happened down in Seven Oaks that my
Scream for me, Seven Oaks.
which then became Two Oaks for a while, if you remember.
Yeah, because they either fell down or were.
And then Ruffians came
Ruffians,
on. That was very odd.
Storm of 85 knocked most of them down, didn't it?
87.
It was Hurricane Gilbert, if you remember. Yeah. I remember sleeping through it.
Joe Gilbert.
Thank God there's no camera. But basically, so there were these legendary parties that happened down in Seven Oaks, and there was a friend of ours called Michael who had mild albinism. I think do you call him albinism? I suppose albinism. Yeah,
I guess
he was a ginger.
And he was but he was a ginger gone to X1000. You know, he was sort of like he got so
T1000 ginger.
Yeah, it's like. Come with me if you want to be blonde. Basically, he was basically sort of white, almost white blonde sort of thing, and we used to call him Albie, which is obviously lovely.
Oh, that's actually quite cute.
But this was around the time when it's around 11 or 12 when we got into snorting alcohol, which was really stupid. That you fill up like a shots glass to the point when it becomes convex meniscus, where basically you have the glass and it has that sort of water tension does that weird thing where it creates a dome, and only at that point is it possible for you to basically snort alcohol, because you can approach. Well, introduce the nostril to the shot glass, and you can siphon off the top layer of the convex meniscus, and it goes straight up. And it's obviously it's not anything other than humans, and
you do realise you can still drink it. This is a lot of effort.
Right, this is the thing. Whilst we were all doing this with JD, which is intensely painful, by the way, and the worst that we discovered was tequila, which if you snort that is utterly dreadful.
And it can kill 'em.
We were doing this all the while, like, Albie, we were doing this, man, we're getting really mashed up, listening to Black Sunday by Cypress Hill and everything like that. And he was like, no, I've got my own drink. Like, well, square or whatever. He took himself off to my very good friend's older sister's room and basically polished off 3/4 of a 75-litre bottle of Southern Comfort, as he had done.
Devil drink.
And it got to the point where we were actually genuinely the sort of, our host's mother was like, I think we're going to have to call an ambulance.
Yeah.
And it was the first white-out moment, which, your friends white out, and it was funny for us because it was Albie and he was white.
We had that as well. We had to call an ambulance for someone that was at a party before because he just got too drunk. I think we were slightly overreacting, but the ambulance did pick him up and take him to Queen Mary's, I think, and pumped his stomach. He walked back from Queen Mary's to Petswood to carry on with the party afterwards.
Randy?
I wasn't trying to name names, but yeah.
Was it Chris Marshall's house?
Yeah.
I think he'd be proud of that one. I'm sure he won't mind
he was drinking straight absinthe and refused to drink
And we had to look after him.
Right.
I got into trouble at your bloody party.
Oh, yes, you did. Yes, you bloody did, didn't you?
All right, let's quickly go into this one before we get back to the topic.
Yeah.
Go on.
Right, it was when you lived in that flat cabin with the mezzanine bedrooms.
Oh, yeah, Jeffrey
Street.
Jeffrey Street, that was wonderful.
Yeah, and was it Spider that came back from Spain or something and had those ridiculous alcohols?
Yes.
And so there's me thinking it's a really
but
good
also
idea.
Dad's bought a load of different coloured absinthe, and Dad wasn't really drinking then.
Yeah.
Oh, Gareth.
Yeah.
Yes, right, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that kind of saw me going, this is a really good idea. That tastes nice. That tastes nice. That tastes nice. That tastes nice. Beth, I need to use the bathroom. I'm going to vomit.
Why did you get in trouble though? Because it was fine.
No, that was me and Mark sitting on your doorstep vomiting for God knows how many hours.
I know.
That fucking night where I was out there for 3 hours with you and neither of you remember me being there. They were wearing my fucking coat. I was They're vomiting around my feet, wearing my coat. I'm freezing, looking after them. They don't fucking remember me.
Which, by the way, and I have to, sorry, just add this in slightly for those of you listening that are into, for those of you listening in death metal, there was a Mart is a very, very, very good friend of ours, my ex-bandmate from a band called Interlock that I was in, and he and I share a sort of love of technical and extreme death metal. He got so drunk with Deola that he blanked out the arrival of Pete Sandoval, the drummer of Morbid Angel. Well, Pete Sandoval turned up, and he's, by the way, for those who don't know, Morbid Angel is a particularly legendary, formative, and seminal death metal band from Florida, arguably one of the first.
Dropping fucking names!
Yeah, and this guy just simply turned up with a friend of mine, Jair, and I obviously just, my jaw hit the floor sort of thing, but Mark, when I had to reach him the news the next morning, go, oh, you remember, Pete Sandoval? He's like, I'm sorry, what? Pete Sandoval said, what? Yeah, sorry. Oh, sorry, dude. Were you outside vomiting with Diola?
That's payment for dirtying my doorstep, bitch. Beth, so the first time you got atrociously drunk.
So the first time that I got too drunk was the first time I got drunk. And I think I was...
End.
It was round Johnny Day's house. Also big up love and whatnot. Johnny Day's house.
Middle class shout out.
Who I love dearly and housed me in my ridiculousness whilst I was getting too drunk. I think I may have been 16 or 17, I'm not quite sure. And I didn't like the taste of alcohol before then. I didn't understand it. It was completely fine. People were getting drunk around me. I just really didn't like it. But then I just got a taste. I guess it was the first time I'd ever had vodka. And I realized that you can just make things alcoholic. So you can have a fruit juice that tastes amazing and it's just alcoholic now, all of a sudden. So that was fun. And
Life hacks.
now I really, really like the taste of certain alcohols. There's definitely some that I reject. But, this one time, Bjorn, my boyfriend at the time, was being very, very kind and caring and making sure that he was making sure what I was drinking, how much I was drinking at the time. He was really looking after me. And whenever he left the room, I kept on drinking.
That's the Ryan spirit right there.
Which is just a horrible thing to do. I felt like I was being cheeky. Obviously, everyone could see. I think you were there as well. I kicked Johnny in the head to see what
was
would
that
happen.
occasion? But to be fair, that is very sweet of him, though, to do that, because that's sort of...
What, Bjorn or Johnny?
Bjorn.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, for Johnny, for taking a kick in the head.
Everyone... The thing is, I got drunk for the first time, surrounded by loved ones in a very safe place. It's the best place to have that horrible experience in a way, even though I probably was the problem. I'm not going to lie. Because I definitely had Matt Goss in the morning, who I've seen so wankered before, and he was the one that was stroking my hair and holding my hair back and putting the bowl in front of my face.
You
and
know
I was
it's
just like,
bad
oh
when.
god. But that was the best place to have such a horrible experience, but such a memorable and amazing experience before it all went downhill and painful.
Brilliant.
So, yeah,
Brilliant story. My first time getting too drunk again was when I was a small infant, 2 or 3. My dad is infamous for drinking his cider constantly.
Oh, yes.
And basically we used to have like a little sea chest that was next to a sofa, and he put it down his pint and went away for a bit, came back, had a sip, went away for a bit, came back, had a sip, and then turned around and went, shit, I drunk that quick. And I'm rolling around on the floor. So I basically crawled up on the side and drunk his pint of cider.
Oh, was it like between like 2 or 3? So
Yeah. Again,
of cider.
crawled up on the sofa and just take a drink, yeah. Apple juice.
Yay!
It's apple juice.
It's appetizer.
So you're 2 or 3,
drop.
and you've taken affirmative action to get wankered.
It's just the fact that my dad didn't think, shit, my drink's gone, my son must have drunk it all. It's no, I might be slightly half cut. Fuck, I drunk that quick.
Well, no, but surely we've all had a moment of going like, I haven't just finished. No, I did. Do you ever remember, if you, of the cider drinkers in the room, cider enthusiasts, that have you ever, the moment where you've been, I don't know, as a sort of like 12, 13-year-old being like, cider, yeah, it's like Strongbow, so you could basically appetize with a bit of ethanol, sort of thing. But do you ever have the recollection of the time that you first went from commercial cider to actual proper West Country cider.
Comes in a white spirits container. Cider.
Precisely. It's the stuff that you put behind a certain
Flagon.
gravestone in a graveyard and hope that it will be there the next day, and when it is, it's
We did that,
covered
didn't
in-
we? We went to a club.
We did, yeah.
We put our alcohol behind some building
site, yeah.
and we came back and it was still there, so
Yeah.
we could have it.
But however, mysteriously slightly more full. But the first time I sort of because I thought, you know, you reach a point of going like, yeah, because I've been like, you know, I've been 14 for many years and I know my stuff, and you know, I'm a seasoned cider drinker, and then someone introduces you to actual genuine cider in the way that it's supposed to be made, and I went to the West Country with my good friend James Tate from Meads of Asphodel. We had a bit of a sort of outing drinking moment, and we went to one of these genuine back of beyond Somerset pubs, ones that are sort of, you're not from round here type, you know.
Yeah.
Turned up there and said, we were given the option. It's like, well, I mean, I'm in Somerset, I might as well have a cider. It's like, oh, well, you're welcome to a cider. So, oh, you can have many of the ones on draft here. So, oh, okay. Or would you like something more?
Would you like some
Genuine.
crippled cock?
Yeah. Do you want? It was quite Monty Python moment.
Something
It
for the
was
weekend,
something-
sir.
No, you know, we got it round the back. So, yeah. So, and the lovely publican that we were with just actually did disappear for a moment and come back with this full pint. And the joke was that the family I was with, holidaying with at the time, said, "Oh yeah, you got to be aware of this because it'll come back and it'll be filled with cider, but there's bits of sock floating around it because that's the publicans and it makes it more potent." True enough, he came back with this cloudy mess that could have doubled as soup. That had bits that, because he just poured it, was genuinely, I mean, I thought they were joking, but it was kind of still circulating in a sort of vague, fashion.
Was it
with
a trotter?
with bits.
It's like an
bits in it.
alcoholic version of the opening scene to American Beauty.
It was utterly, because I looked at it going, the amber nectar, but it was this sort of like, it was this viscous mess that was doubling as cider. So I drank one pint, but the way that I drink pints, I don't know, I have an affliction. I just drink very quickly, stupidly. I just do.
We've all got that affliction, Hal.
No, I'm sorry. No, Taz, to your credit, sir, I've seen you nurse a single can of beer for an inordinately
he
long
just
amount
forgot it
of
was
time.
Because he's too fucked to drink anymore.
That's very true. But however, I downed this pint in the same fashion that I tend to normally. And did that, and then I had one of the double up West Country pub moments where the entire pub is looking at me, going, "I do believe he just did that." I was like, "Why?" Turns
They're just
out that
timing it.
just immediately outside is I've never seen one of these before, but there's a gravel pit. Not the Wu-Tang Clan sort of.
Oh,
you know,
thank you.
Right, thank you. Yeah. But Jenny, I didn't know that a gravel pit is the name for a reason. The gravel pit is in a siding for HGV, heavy goods vehicles, when, as apparently happens with alarming regularity, when HGVs actually lose their brakes, which are based on pneumatics, is it, or hydraulics? So I don't know, but I think it's pneumatics.
Again, pronunciation for the podcast is pneumatics.
Pronunciation. That when HGVs lose their brakes, which does in fact happen, they have to go off into the sidings, and in certain areas of responsible motorway sort of sidings and everything like that, there are sometimes gravel pits. If there is something that will stop an HGV which has ultimate torque but no brakes or anything like that, a gravel pit, you sink into it like quicksand, and it stops you. Right. So that's outside the pub. It turns out, if a car mistakenly just goes by the wayside and happens to venture even one wheel into the gravel pit, that's it. People have apparently driven intentionally into the gravel pit after 1.5 pints of the scrumpy that I had had. If you have ever had an entire pub, which was pretty packed at the time, it was a Friday evening, watch you continue drinking. It's somewhat when you're 16 years old going, do I tell the
16?
publican? Yeah, 16. And just going like, and the entire pub going, I'm going to watch this boy because this is going to be fabulous. I turned into a cross between the Duke of Edinburgh, Juevenile, and Hugh Grant. But termed 50, but going, you know what? But I happen to be absolutely bloody glass-housed. Oh my! And everyone's going, yeah, he's not from round here, is he? Is he, you given the post boy to Scrumpy? Oh, no, we did, yeah. Gave him extra sock this time.
Before we move on, as you brought up cider, my first time with cider was in fact Scrumpy, and again it was camping, and it was an entire night of me and Darren each had a flagon of Scrumpy each, and we also had several bags of flumps.
Flump marshmallow things.
Now, the only way I can really tell you, kind of describe the results of drinking a flagon of Scrumpy at the age of 13 while eating bags and bags of marshmallows is to first ask,
How did you say Scrumpy?
have you ever seen an excised tumour?
Yes.
Oh my god!
Yes, I have.
Now imagine you've got so drunk
sounds
you've had to wander over to a bramble pit and just hawk up a series of excised tumours covered in fluffy liquid rainbow.
Why do we do this to ourselves?
No, call the topic there.
Cool.
No, we
I'm
can't.
Sorry, I've got such a...
Beth, I believe it is your turn to delve into potluck.
Potluck.
I'm gonna
One from the community.
Stick my fist right in the community and pull out a topic.
Don't you love it?
Okay. Oh, it doesn't say who it's from. Is that okay?
Oh, that's probably from my wenchie then.
Oh, that's true.
That's one from Heather.
This is from Heather. Let's all just stare at her really awkwardly until we finish answering. What's the most bloody film you have ever seen?
The most bloody film
I don't know, maybe
Now-
Robocop's up there. One of the Robocops.
Well,
Rambo. What's the one that has a ridiculous high body
2.
count?
That's First Blood Part 2.
That's it, yeah.
I love the fact that they clearly had a competition back then of like Total Recall, all of those ones. They're just like, how many people can we kill in one film? Kind of shoot a gun once and 12 people die.
now it's not the most bloody, but one of my favourite films is The Devil's Rejects. I think we mentioned this on the last podcast.
Please tell me you're talking about the end scene.
No, I'm not talking about anything in the scene. I'm talking about, I think it's I think it's this film. But I love The Devil's Rejects so much, I know all of the
You do?
DVD extras and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think it's on that DVD extras where some guy is saying, look, you can't make it real. The special effects, you can't make the special effects real. That's not actually what it looks like when you shoot someone there or stuff like that.
Right, yeah.
Sorry,
Really?
Sam Peckinpah was a legendary director around the time of the sort of like just when the westerns were being made and it was part of the whole sort of propaganda
Which is like
movement.
one of the cheapest genres ever to make.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There was a time when westerns were the spaghetti westerns were being made, and it was on the cusp of sort of the end of the propaganda movement in the sort of like 50s towards breaching into the 60s. There's a director called Sam Peckinpah, who was having his films banned end on end within most of America and even England, just being like sort of this is ridiculously uber violent, which by the way is referenced by Tarantino in latter years, is that he had these excessively violent shooting scenes and everyone's like, this is just ridiculous. Is that no, what you're forgetting is what Peckinpah has done, studied videos of people getting shot. And that if you get shot by a Colt 45, which, that famous sort of, the Colt 45, it can take a limb off at a certain thing. And the Peckinpah movies were factually accurate. And that it wasn't him being uber violent, it was him being honestly truthful. So actually, sorry to disperse that, it's just that actually what Rob Zombie did.
That wasn't Rob Zombie saying.
No, I'm saying no, just like in what Zombie had done in the sort of like splatter gore stuff, is actually kind of slightly closer to actually, people don't get shot in this nice little polite trickle of blood.
Yeah.
Polite.
I believe it's the Devil's
Excuse
Rejects.
me.
It's the Devil Rejects, again, the extra
Oh, I
features
see.
where they get the guy who's lost a few limbs to pose out in the middle of the road and just throw offal at him. Or is it her? It's a her, isn't it? It's a girl. I can't remember.
The
but
character that
basically,
gets hit by a massive lorry. Like
gets hit by an articulated lorry.
Yeah.
And
it is just awful. And
they just shoot.
She's
the scene
eviscerated.
with-
She's
yeah.
absolutely eviscerated.
Yeah.
They just have
That's
fake
great
limbs
scene.
laying around and this girl there with no limbs
Yeah,
on the floor.
it's amazing.
It's a brilliant scene.
Which,
Yeah.
sorry to say, but if you got these bicycle victims recently, where these HGVs in London, which is, have you seen that recent headline where one of the MPs has said,
Yeah.
bicyclists have their own selves to blame?
Yeah.
But it's
What?
not,
Really?
yeah, no,
It's
absolutely.
ridiculous,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, it's an amazing comment. However, no, sorry, but, right. Not saying by all,
No,
but
no,
not
it's
all.
not. It's not entirely one person's fault, obviously.
Yes, but the largest amount of road deaths, as in bicycle to automated vehicle, on a ratio of things, as it were, is basically HGVs turning left while a cyclist thinks that they can have a cheeky smash through. What they end up doing is similar to when someone gets caught under a tube or a train. It's utterly horrific, and it is a
Just mush
I've darked it out, let's move on.
Yeah.
Back to the
It's
topic.
quite dark.
What other
Right.
bloody films can we think of?
The Human Centipede 2.
You've actually seen it.
That's horrible!
Have you seen 1 and 2?
Yeah.
Why?
I haven't seen it either.
Why would you ever want to watch that
Me
film?
and Kel watched the first one and it's too clinical.
Okay.
Ridiculously clinical. If you watch it, have any of you watched it?
That's a fetish.
No, I haven't
It's
yet.
incredibly clinical. And it's kind of like, oh, okay, right. And you all know the premise of
Yeah.
3 people get put together and he kind of, it's a surgeon who does it, a mental surgeon who literally kind of cuts them in the right way
So
to join
mouths
them
to
up.
arseholes.
Yeah. And in Human
Continued
Centipede 2,
digestive system.
Human Centipede 2 is a really interesting film in where the film is set in the world where Human Centipede 1 is a film.
Oh, that's clever.
So it's
For
it's
Human Centipede, that's clever.
yeah, and it's this guy who basically does a copycat, but he wants to do it in real life, but bigger.
Wow.
But this isn't a film. This is now in real life. Comic. It's
So they
horrid.
make it more gritty.
Yeah, and it's all in
realistic.
black and white, and the main character is creepy. It's horrid.
But
But both me and Kel sat and watched it in silence.
But isn't he English?
All the blood and gore that's kind of insinuated in number 1, you see tenfold in 2, and it's disgusting.
Damn, that gives it some kind of integrity. I really rejected those films ever watching them, but that actually sounds quite interesting.
I would recommend the first one without the second isn't as good
Yeah, of course. you need
because
to see-
I hope that this was all planned.
Yeah.
For the bloodiest film I've ever seen, I've got to go to the realms of porn.
I was going to say it's got to be some
Oh,
menstrual
man.
porn if you're putting your hand.
It's not.
No?
No, menstrual porn would be a gift.
Oh,
I've got
And I'm sure there has been many a birthday and Christmas that you have to see menstrual porn.
I've got to preface this. This came at a time where sort of you kind of start discovering all the free porn sites, and then you find something extreme, and then you go, oh, that was interesting, and then, oh, that's even more extreme. Oh, that's also more extreme, and you kind of reach this point where you stop wanking, and you just kind of.
Basically, you've just come.
you stop wanking and start taking notes.
You have that. One to do with the wenchy.
Well,
I do hope you bought a spoon.
We've got lumps of it around the back.
Don't worry, darling, I have a tea strainer.
you like. In this development, you've stopped wanking a long time ago, and you are watching purely out of fascination. You're just kind of going from one film to another, just kind of stepping up the extremity, and just kind of, at a moment, just at a point, just marveling at, I don't know, would you call it sort of athleticism and dramatics that these kind of
It's
these people.
the same thing you get when you watch the Olympics. It's just that's what humans are capable of.
Yes,
Right,
yeah, exactly.
Okay. I really was
Absolutely.
wondering where you were going with that.
The anus is an amazing organ.
So this.
Right, Mum.
This came off a site which I won't name because I don't particularly want to be attached to. I don't know if it exists anymore.
YouTube.
When
PewDiePie just got it straight up him.
I discovered this site through 4chan, and eventually it got taken down by the FBI, and I didn't visit it after that because I realised that perhaps probably shouldn't be watching it. However, this
Kiddie porn is basically what you're saying.
it was not kiddie porn.
Okay.
Kiddie porn also would have been a blessing. No, what it was was a 5-minute video, and it started off with a Japanese girl, her hands and legs bound down to the corners of a hard concrete floor, and she's just writhing around for a couple of minutes, and then the other 4 minutes are just men taking turns in pouring cow viscera over her.
Oh no!
This was the entirety of the porn. There was There was nothing overtly sexual about it. It was just a girl tied down to concrete being covered in cow guts. And I think that's probably the bloodiest film I've ever seen.
And the weirdest...
Terminator 6 has never been the same again.
And you...
I know now why you
Please
cry.
tell me... Brilliant. Bovine bonus stories. That's what I like. Okay.
Can I be horribly silly and hipsterish and wankerish? Honestly, the bloodiest film that I can think of, other than I assume such as things like Serbian film or whatever, is actually my favourite film ever in the world.
Yeah.
Weirdly, now that I think about it in retrospect, it's not the reason why I love it that much. It's just that it's a part of the plot line. It's a film called La Reine Margot, and
Big up.
yeah, and Isabella Gianni plays Margot, and it's ridiculously
You got
bloody and
friendship on?
violent.
Right.
It's massively torturously bloody and violent, but it's just it was for a very, very long. It's only been topped in the past 3 years. That it was for something ludicrous like 20 years the most expensive film that France has ever made.
Right.
And
It is amazing.
thankfully, it also happens to be an exceptional movie.
Yeah.
And it's not ruining anything for you at all, because you can go and look up the history, because it's based on actual fact. Is that basically the death of the king is ludicrously bloody and violent, because he's given a poison that basically makes you bleed to death from your skin. And then Margot is wearing her wedding dress that she just had the jilted marriage from, and the wedding dress itself is covered in blood, and it's ludicrously bloody, but it's also very, very beautiful at the same time. I now sound like the worst possible goth I could ever be.
I've never really associated bloodiness in film with French movies, but now you bring it up, I always thought like Blue is the Warmest Colour probably should have ended with a machete bloodbath.
Still not seen it.
Yeah, that's what I think. I suppose the most awkward sort of torture porny scene that I've ever seen was Hard Candy.
That's a great movie.
No, it's so hard to watch.
It was
No,
not
I
a good movie.
No,
Why?
it's the neutering scene in particular was particularly hard to watch.
I was really fucking bored.
Yes, I have to admit that was.
It does take
Right.
a long time to do much.
I don't know
Yeah,
why anyone would watch a film like that, because it just seemed like you were being tortured watching it.
I think I need to watch it again. I
No.
probably
You
made,
don't need to like it.
I probably made the mistake of watching it. It was round mine in the day. People were drinking, people were chatting, so it was kind of half
Yeah.
paying.
Yeah, I wouldn't watch it in
absolute
a-
most 70% paying attention. So
Yeah,
I want to watch it again because so many people say it's
See,
good.
because I watched it that same day, but I had like a passed out girl over the top of me. So I was engrossed in that film, and it was so hard. It felt like I couldn't leave the room, couldn't get away from it. It was
Well, you
horrible.
couldn't. You had someone on you.
Yeah, I didn't.
Anybody else?
Oh no, sorry. That same day, we watched Amityville Horror 4. Best horror film ever.
Oh, possessed floor lamp. Fuck yes.
Are you actually saying honestly that
Amityville Horror 4 is amazing. The reason why Amityville Horror 4 is the best horror film ever. No, fuck it. Best film ever. No! Is
Blubberella is the best film ever.
Come on. Is because, first of all, it stars the child Ferengi from Deep Space Nine, who becomes a member of Starfleet. Nerds out there represent. Yes.
He's great.
But also, it is a lamp that is possessed by the spirit that haunts the original house in Amityville Horror.
And let's not forget that the face of this demon looks a lot like Shagrath.
It does.
From Dimmu Borgir with his face paint on.
without
Although,
makeup or with?
I saw a very a clear similarity to the dispossessed head of the Power Rangers. What was his name? No, fuck it. Zordon, thank you very much.
Why do you know that?
Why don't you?
I had a childhood, Hal.
Well, I didn't, and I don't like the fact that you bring that up.
The most harrowing scene in Amityville Horror 4 is a scene where a lady is reading a book in the lounge. Thank you, D. You already get creasing over that film. The camera slowly pans around her, like 360. The tension music builds. Strings are climaxing all over the shop. And then all of a sudden, the lamp turns on behind her. And that is the most harrowing scene in the entire film.
Seriously, is that actually that?
It's incredible! It's a tour de force!
Fucking right, it's amazing, and let's watch it forever.
Oh, it's fantastic. I'm so sad that we've only watched it that day.
I know. You know, actually, I'm quite happy because it's still so fucking pressed in our memories.
Yeah.
May I go just? It's horrendously sort of anarchistic of me, but anarchic of me. Sorry, to do this. But if you had to do a desert island movie that you're going to be sentenced to the desert island until eternity or whatever, and you can only have one film.
Oh, topic on the fly.
Yeah, topic on the fly here. Topic. You have... and that's it, done. That's now the ident that you're going to have on that. That's the audio you're going to have. Fly topic, but banana back down. It's how to have the bass like that in what's that awful Seinfeld? Fly topic.
No, Steve, the way he said it was, fly topic.
Robots
Distraction in disguise.
Right, so come on. So Desert Island, you have to choose one film. It's the only film you can ever watch until the rest of eternity.
Usual Suspects.
Wow.
I was
Every
thinking
time I
that.
watch that film, I notice something different.
Thank you, we were just fucking discussing this.
Battle Royale for me.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
I love that film.
It is a brilliant
I
film.
might even go for Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Wow. It is beautiful.
I will exactly. I will never not be amazed by the beauty of it.
That's true.
Really?
Yes, it's wonderful, beautiful film.
I know it's absolutely fantasy with people flying around, but the music, especially when they're going through the bamboo forest, and it's just like, well, good grief, yes.
Quickly go on.
Yeah.
Even though Usual Suspects is my favourite movie, I'm not entirely sure that could be my Desert Island movie. It might have to be. I was just thinking, it'll have to be a Disney, because that's comforting for me, because I freaking love Disney for no reason. It's a horrible thing to love. But I thought maybe of Disney things.
Goth.
I thought of Disney things. I was like, what's the best Disney movie that I could take on to?
Debbie Does Dallas.
That's just a good
It's
point.
Lion
It's something
King
to
or you're
flap
wrong.
to.
No. I was thinking maybe. Sorry, I can't get Futurama out of my head. What do I mean? That begins with F and it's all music. Fantasia. It's like Futurama. No, that's wrong. Fantasia. I was thinking, I'll take Fantasia because that's, there's so many different scenes. It's like a different movie every single scene.
Yeah.
No, because I'd forget what language was. There's just music. And I would start to think that there was no humans. It was just
morning,
toadstools.
On your desert island, instead of having a Wilson, you'd have like a broom.
Right.
And this fucking mouse that keeps
Right. So
chopping.
Andy, what?
I don't know. Yeah, it'd be a toss between Blubberella or FAQ about time travel.
Oh, FAQ about time travel every time.
I've never heard of that.
Oh, it's amazing.
I need to see Blubberella.
I
That
need to
film
see it.
sounds incredible.
Good. It's up there in like the same realm of God.
God, the movie.
Although, Andy, can you briefly describe FAQ of time travel?
FAQ time travel just sort of like it's the geeks are having their moment at the pub, just having a drink, and then someone comes up to one of them and just says, "I'm so glad that I've been able to meet you. Like, I'm a big fan of yours." And he's just like a bloke at the pub dreaming about sort of loving sci-fi and whatever. And he says, "Oh no, I'm a time traveler. Like, it's a really big moment for me. I get to meet you." And then they fall through the hole in time that she's come back to repair is in the gents.
Yeah.
In the pub.
No way.
So
And it all goes very, very wrong.
Yeah.
Very quickly,
And who's it? So it's the Irish guy from IT Crowd.
Chris O'Dowd.
Yeah, and the girl who comes up to them in the pub, who's a time traveller, is the girl from Scary Movie.
yeah.
The blonde one.
The main character, like the main one that's in most of the Scary Movies. I can't remember her name.
Yeah. So they end up full
She was in Smiler, that film we watched the other day.
Oh, good grief, that was funny too.
That was so funny. Stoner film.
Anyway, Hal, as you brought it up, sir, and before we move on to, I believe you're attacking the hot pot next, but before we move on to that, what is your desert island movie?
It would have to be between, like, obviously, I am lucky enough to be able to identify my favourite ever film. I've got one of 5, but La Reine Margot or Cyrano de Bergerac, the Jean-Paul Rappenet version of it.
Yes.
Which actually, to be honest with you, the reason I would choose it is because if I have to watch one film for the rest of eternity, the rest of my life, that should contain all the complexities of human emotion and represent different feelings throughout that, then I would imagine Cyrano de Bergerac would probably do that. Reine Margot, because it's just really hot.
Yeah, but Lorraine Margot doesn't have the comedy as well. So.
Yeah, Cyrano de Bergerac probably just aimed it about it, and Depardieu didn't know that he was giving the performance he was doing. You know,
it's amazing, that film.
Yeah, but having quizzed him about it, he's practically illiterate, couldn't read the script, had it read to him, and I asked him about it, like the performance. He was like, I don't know, it's just one of these things I did. It stopped me biking.
Oh wow! Okay,
that's a way to look at it, I guess.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Anyway, how?
Okay. That's why I just pointed you because it just pleases me. Right, I will try and open this. Unfortunately, because we're using post-it notes, it's slightly stuck to itself, which worries me a little bit. Maybe it wasn't a post-it note.
Very excited topic.
I was drunk when I put half of those in.
Oh God, I love you. Oh right, okay. Tom.
Yeah.
Musical interlude.
Right at the end of the show. We can do this. What I was hoping is getting an on-air approval from you. Do you want to play a Talent song?
Okay. That'd be lovely. Actually, no, that'd be... Yeah, thank you very much.
That's all right. We can do
lovely.
it every time it comes up, because there's about 4 musical interludes in that.
Oh, lovely.
This is a band what I made.
Hal, if you'd like to introduce a track, and then I can put it in.
Well, okay. Oh, I can really troll this. Okay, I'm going to introduce as a musical interlude the one of the few times that my wife and I have managed to appear on record together.
Oh.
And it's from our more recent sort of acoustic album, and it's basically a tune where my wife plays the character of a murdered wife.
Okay, so reflects
nice
reality.
and light.
Yeah. And it's this is called The Apostle.
Perfect. Oh, wasn't that good, guys?
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
fuck.
I'm so good at doing the noises.
Do you know?
Absolutely mashing.
It's the bit where it's like, doom-sh, 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 and that. Put your hands up in the air. Doom-sh, 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 doom-sh. Reach for the lasers. Reach for the lasers, Detroit. Reach for the lasers. Reach for the lasers, Detroit.
Scunthorpe.
Doom, 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 doom. Isn't it great that my wife did provide the Detroit bits in that? I thought that was really. I mean,
No. Sorry, it's pronounced detritus.
No, I think of it Detroit. Detroit.
So here's one from the community, but that community member is Diola, who's sitting here right with us.
Hello.
No, dude, he's to your left.
Sausages. I have never seen them being made. Also, what are your favourites?
I've seen sausages being made, except on the
Darling,
internet.
I love you.
What they're supposed to be made of, what the skin traditionally is made of.
Oh yeah, pig hairs. It just
No, not
you were
pig
happy.
hair.
Whatever.
So the skin of sausages is traditionally made with what? The intestines of something.
Yeah, the pig.
The pig. Oh, moo.
It's pronounced oink.
I think about wonk wonk. I think it's actually wonk.
If you're in Europe,
Wonk wonk.
Oink.
Le wonk.
el oinko.
I have actually learnt what oink in Lithuanian is.
Oh, go on.
Kru kru.
That's right.
Oh, that's
Fucking
adorable.
bullshit.
Sorry, crew. At what point has a pig ever gone? Oh, actually,
No, it's a fucking pigeon.
I've also not
It's a
had
fucking
point
pigeon.
like at what point that I've never heard a pig actually come up to me like, Hal, yes mate, yeah, what? Hal, no, yes mate, yeah, what? I know you've been, you've had a few drinks and stuff like that. I love you. Like, yeah, of course, mate. Yeah, that's all right, Percy. That's fine. Whatever. Like, yeah, I've got to say this.
Percy Pig,
I
big shout out.
I have to say this to you, Hal. It's like, oh, all right, man. Yeah, we can talk. Oink. No pig has ever done that to me.
Oh, really? What a shame.
Oh, that's a shame.
That's how the sausage is made, if you know what I say.
Bow, bow, bow. I'll be ready.
So, I mean, in answer to the actual question, firstly, let me answer yours, Hal. That's never happened
Answer his
because
sausage.
pigs have no ability to talk.
Fuck off that don't.
Have you not read Animal Farm?
Secondly, in answer to your
Two
question,
legs good,
Fiona,
fascism bad.
So sausages are like the recipe for a basic sausage is very simple. Like you take some pig meat, you pulverize it, you add some rusk, which is wheat, flour, and salt.
And a really good
lips and
metal name.
arseholes and-
The bits of the pigs are used. Yeah, that's up to the
Which I
the discretion
defend.
of the producer.
Massively.
However, essentially, what you're dealing with is something that is pig, tasty. Wheat flour, tasty. Salt, wheat flour, tasty. Sorry. Shit.
Salt. Wheat flour.
So you got three basic ingredients, all of which are very tasty. It shouldn't be something you can mess up. But this was highlighted to me as entirely wrong very recently when I was working up in Glasgow and I was put up at a travel lodge. No, was it travel lodge or holiday? It doesn't matter. Let's say travel lodge because fuck travel lodge.
At the holiday
I was put up there for the week and we got free breakfast and it wasn't a nice breakfast, but there were sausages. I thought, you can't really go wrong with sausages for the reasons just mentioned. Only you can. You can go extremely wrong with sausages. In fact,
What's wrong?
So I assume it's got to have had those three ingredients, those three basic tasty ingredients.
Assumptions make an arse of you and you alone.
Also,
See, sausages were so bad.
lips, vaginas, and bumholes, basically.
Oh my.
Yeah, I can only assume these were those sausages of law that were like arseholes and eyelids.
The sausages of law.
Arsehole.
There he is, coming down with the Ten Commandments. Good news, guys. It's about sausages. Fuck murder. Commandment number 1: Thou shalt not.
See, when he said the sausage of law, all I saw was dread sausages.
I am the sausage doesn't really gel in Mega City 2, does it?
We're thinking in the House of Commons where they do their parade with all the sceptres and swords, but instead they just got massive sausages.
Behold, may your highness, the Cumberland of fate.
Cool. Well, Diona, I hope that answered your questions.
So,
Excellent, yes,
this sausage, I'm assuming it was made from like this kind of classic idea of sausages being made from arseholes and eyelids, throats and scrotes. Because it had the property of not only being an awful sausage, but it would make ketchup taste worse.
What?
Wow. Bloody hell, that's
This wasn't something you can just say, oh, this is a bad sausage, I'll just throw some ketchup on it. You know, there was nothing. I experimented for the entirety of this week, thinking like, well, if I cut it in half, maybe get some beans in there, get some mustard, get some brown sauce, and maybe a touch of ketchup, because the ketchup didn't work last time, and then we'll just throw some sauce on, because these are very bland sausages. They were basically vegetarian in nature, and they just made everything taste worse. And I found that quite staggering. Because it's hard to make a bad sausage.
No, I've had some incredibly cheap sausages, and they've always tasted all right, at minimum.
That's a social point. Sorry, I must. It's a point that I was making with my. I've been doing some work recently with working at a vaping company, which is the industry I'm currently engrossed within, and I have an ethical point about the fact that I'm an omnivore. I'm very happy as an omnivore, and I do understand that in a few years, decades, time, that there will be a point where there's absolutely no reason to kill an animal for its sustenance. We will be able to synthesize everything. In the meantime,
tasty.
But the major thing that I have about this is that sausages and fish fingers are two particular products which should absolutely contain. Like a step up from offal is essentially all the things that you shouldn't be, I don't know, appetized by, as in, I'm sorry to say it, but nostrils, vaginas and bumholes sort of thing, and elbows and everything like that, is that's my reason for being okay for being omnivore, is that I would hope that the animal that has died for my sustenance, we use everything from it. Even down to, horses being used for glue and all that sort of silliness and everything like that. It's that, no, but they are, but gelatin, for instance, like beef gelatin or your business like that, is that, honestly, I would like the prime cuts on a good day on the weekend, and then on a Tuesday I'll be fed the eyelids or something like that. And the sausages are supposed to be sacks of the stuff that you don't want to think about, but they're in a tiny sack that's palatable, you might as well eat them. So I get worried when you go to a place and it's like, oh, sausage, but it's made from prime cotton. No, that's the point. The whole fish fingers are bleached because fish fingers contain all the bits that you're not supposed to eat. That's the whole point of it.
No, absolutely fair enough. However, have you had an amazing sausage? There's a shop at a place near us.
Diona can speak from experience about the
Well done, sir. Well done. Sebastian Horsey is still alive. Right, okay,
So, Diona, tell us about some of the amazing sausage you've had.
Now the pyramids is bad. Oh, I see. Okay.
I don't want to drop any names.
How can you with your mouth full?
Anyway.
Oh my god! Whale song in the
If you ever
bedroom.
make that noise on me, I will be surprised.
Lovely.
There's a fucking fantastic sausage shop down in Beckenham, and they do the most amazing things. They basically kind of take, it seems, countries and make a sausage for it. So like they had the Argentinian chorizo kind of thing.
I really like that. That's nice. Nice idea.
Wonderful. Hands down, the best sausages I've ever bloody eaten.
But it's supposed to be filled with essentially, honestly.
Yeah, but are you saying that you
no,
can't
no,
have
No,
a prime
no, it's not.
one?
So the sausages are supposed
I-
to be made from good meats. That's how you get good sausages.
I definitely hear what you're saying, and yes, I agree. There will still be those sausages, but I'm really fucking happy in the fact that they do these sausages that are absolutely incredible.
How has this been our most engrossing topic of the evening?
Passion about sausage.
sausage, Thomas.
You know I do, baby.
So that's sausages.
You like baby
Yes.
sausages?
Should we close it up, Tom?
I think we should. I want to say thank you to everyone that's joined me here tonight.
Including Heather. Woo!
Yes, to our audience, Heather. Pudding.
The silent Heather. Yeah, we've got friends. She's a mute.
She's trying so hard not to make a noise right now. Right, say thank you, Beth, my lovely sister. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Taryn. Thank you, Hal. Thank you, Diola, for joining me. You can find us, actually. I'm going to bring out the list of things that I need to read off.
You can find us in an alleyway somewhere, deeply regretting everything we've done, but still remembering it.
Okay, so you can find us on the web at pottopicpodcast.com, at Twitter, at pottopicpodcast. Find our Facebook page, just look for us. Tumblr, you can look for us as well, just search it. Stop being lazy.
Or we'll look for you.
You can send us feedback. You can send us feedback or more submissions. Emails at pottopicpodcast.com. Please take the time and effort to rate and review us on iTunes and Stitcher, and like the video on YouTube and SoundCloud if you're listening to us there as well.
If you have liked us and you want to get involved, do go to share it obviously, but do go to the website pottopicpodcast.com and go to the suggestions page where you can throw in your own submit some topics for us to talk about.
And if you'd like to see our pretty faces, I've put a picture of us all up there as well.
And seriously, throw us some curveballs
and a hug, please.
No. I hate
no hugs for you.
Fuck hugs.
Fuck hugs.
No, that's just sex, isn't it?
What would Cthulhu do?
I'd also like to make a quick apology, especially to Liam, who posted on our Facebook page, and everyone else that probably got a little bit sidetracked by it. I was quite drunk and accidentally clicked on the pay for an ad to boost our page views, and may have promoted something saying, "We're not ready yet." Liam called me out on it, and that's fair enough.
And
so,
then
hope
he listened to the podcast, so
I hope you enjoyed
awesome.
it, dude. Yeah, that's it. Thank you very much, everyone.
Pod blast.
Blast in your face.
Oh, actually, and we can fade out on this. Diola, would you care, as a rant, would you care to correct Beth on a statement from the last podcast in which she said humans are not evolving?
Right, woman.
Can't wait till the volume goes down.
Humans are coming out the water. Pop, they pop, breathing the air and the water at the same time. Beth is there, she's sexy. I'm a mentor with the sexy. We're evolving, bobbity bob. Split the gene on millions of years. Beth.
Is that your impression? I thought you were doing an impression of Richard Dawkins then.
So just a quick bit about the whiskey of tonight, Strathsler, their 12-year-olds. It was thoroughly all right.
I enjoyed every sip of it.
Can I add?
Yeah, absolutely,
So,
Hal.
I think it was particularly light. There were slightly slightly citrus tones to it, but the only thing is, it was not a heavy peaty malt.
No, at some point we're going to have to get some peaty as fuck motherfucker in.
We're
Like
gonna
drinking a tyre fire.
Absolutely.
But, however, that was light and, as the description goes, drinkable.
Oh,
I definitely drank
extremely
it.
drinkable.
It was
Yeah, you definitely drank it. Andy, the most silent member of the podcast, has said it was definitely drinkable.
Andy?
I drank it.
You didn't swallow, did you?
Can I have a little bit more?
Yeah, I'm
Absolutely.
I thought it had a little bit of character, but less impact. So than
Any general
compared with,
12-year-old, I think.
Shall we say? Yeah.
Depends how fast you fire them.
So, in summation, the 12-year-old Strathsler,
That's right.
it's well right. Thoroughly drinkable.
Thank you for the amazing review. Oh, that's all right.
That's right. 5 stars. Cool.
Good sipping whiskey. Lovely. Love you all. Ta-ra.
Bye!
The music used in this episode was Meatball Parade by Kevin MacLeod and Compotech.com. It's licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0. Please see the MP3 comment tag or show notes on pottopicpodcast.com for more information. Diola and Hal, you can just speak both together at the same time in a comfortable position that you're going to record in.
No, I don't want to. Can't be position. No, I'm not going to do that.
Would you like comfortable?
I'm never comfortable.
Which position would you like? Comfort?
A table
What about fuck?
in a
Yes.
comfort. In a spunk castle. This is...
Okay.
Oh, I've been to Spunk Castle. That's the west end of the Central Line, isn't it?
I'll show you the west end of a central line.
I'm just going to open my beer because it's loud.
Cool.
I was hoping for like.
Kalima Shakti Day.